Good evening, one and all. We welcome you all to the international webinar series on holistic health, well-being, and sustainable development 2024, commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, nation celebrating 76 years of independence, United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2015 to 2030, as part of awareness and campaigns in collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute Center for Art, Sciences and Wellbeing. Before we start our sessions, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
Kurutvam kalyanam arogyam dhanasampadam shubham kurutvam kalyanam arogyam dhanasampadam shatrubuddhi vinashaya deepajyotirnamostute deepajyotirnamostute shubham kurutvam kalyanam arogyam dhanasampadam Shubham kurutvam kalyanam arogyam dhanasampadam.
With the blessings of Almighty, we shall continue with today's commemorations. Today, we are commemorating World Chagas Disease Day. Chagas disease, also known as silent or silence disease, affects mainly poor people without access to health and health care, or people without a political voice. The disease progresses slowly and often shows an asymptomatic clinical course. Without treatment, Chagas disease can lead to severe cardiac and digestive alterations and become fatal. So raising awareness of the disease is essential to improve the rates of early treatment and cure together with interruption of its transmission. The World Chagas Day disease was celebrated for the first time in 2022. So tackling Chagas disease, detect early and care for life. 6 to 7 million affected worldwide, approximately 12,000 disease-related deaths every year, and 30 to 40,000 new cases every year is the statistics. In 2024, we are shining a spotlight on Chagas disease, the suffering it causes, and are calling for equitable access to healthcare and services for everyone affected by the disease. The theme for 2024 is tackling Chagas disease, detect early and care for life, to increase public awareness of Chagas disease and secure greater funding and support for early diagnosis and lifelong comprehensive follow-up care initiatives. Chagas disease is prevalent among poor populations of continental Latin America, is increasingly being detected in other countries and continents. It is often termed as a silent and silence disease, as the infected majority have no symptoms or extremely mild symptoms. There are approximately 6 to 7 million people infected with Chagas disease worldwide, with 12,000 deaths every year. Chagas disease is also known as American trypanosomiasis, is a potentially life-threatening illness caused by protozoan parasite, Trypanosoma cruzi T. cruzi. So looking at the key facts, about 6 to 7 million people worldwide, mostly Latin America, are estimated to be infected with Trypanosoma cruzi, the parasite that causes Chagas disease. It can be transmitted by the triatomine bug vector-borne as well as orally foodborne during pregnancy on birth, congenital through blood products, organ transplantation, and laboratory accidents. Chagas disease is curable if antiparasitic treatment is initiated early. In the acute phase, in chronic inflammation, the treatment and follow-up can potentially prevent or curb disease progression and prevent transmission. For instance, during pregnancy and birth, up to a third of people with chronic infection develop cardiac alterations, and 1 in 10 develop digestive, neurological, or mixed alterations which may require specific treatment. Key strategies to prevent Chagas disease include vector control in Latin America, blood screening, pre-transfusion and transplantation, testing and treating girls, women of reproductive age, newborns and siblings of mothers with infection, and information, education and communication for the communities and health professionals. So Chagas disease is an infectious disease caused by a protozoan parasite, Trypanosoma cruzi. However, this condition is a result of complex health problem, typically neglected tropical diseases and socially determined diseases. A missed or late diagnosis with absent or incomplete treatment and follow-up can transform this infection into a life-threatening condition. About 6 to 7 million people worldwide are estimated to be infected with T. cruzi, leading to approximately 12,000 deaths every year. Although a condition of increasing global presence, Chagas disease is found mainly in endemic areas of 21 continental Latin American countries, where transmission is largely due to vector presence. Today, approximately 75 million people are considered at risk at infection. So Chagas disease is named after Carlos Chagas, a Brazilian physician and researcher who on 14th April 1909 diagnosed the disease in a person for the first time. Today, 14th April, marks World Chagas Disease Day. Chagas disease was once entirely confined to continental rural areas of Americas. Due to increased population mobility, most infected people now live in urban settings, and the infection has been detected in 44 countries, including Canada, the United States of America, and many European and some Western Pacific, African, and Eastern Mediterranean countries. In Latin America, T. cruzi parasites are mainly transmitted by contact with feces, urine of infected blood-sucking triatomine bugs. These bugs typically live in the wall or roof cracks of homes and surrounding structures, such as chicken coops, pens, and warehouses in rural or suburban areas. Normally, they hide during the day and become active at night when they feed on animal and human blood. They usually bite an exposed area of skin, such as the face, and defecate or urinate close to the bite. The parasites enter the body when the person instinctively smears the bug feces or urine into the bite. Other skin breaks the eyes of the eyes or the mouth. T. cruzi can also infect animals. Common opossums are considered one of the most important wild reservoirs of infection. So T. cruzi can be also be transmitted by consumption of food or beverages contaminated with T. cruzi through, for example, contact with feces or urine of infected triatomine bugs or common opossums. This kind of transmission typically causes outbreaks. During pregnancy or childbirth, through blood or blood product transfusion, through transplants of some organs, such as heart or kidney, and through laboratory accidents. So Chagas disease presents in two phases. We look at signs and symptoms. Chagas disease presents in two phases. The initial acute phase lasts for about 2 months after infection. Although a high number of parasites can circulate in the blood, in most cases, symptoms are absent or mild or non-specific, like fever, headache, enlarged lymph glands, pallor, muscle pain, difficulty in breathing, swelling, and abdominal or chest pain. Much less frequently, people bitten by a triatomine bug show the characteristic first visible signs, which can be a skin lesion or a purplish swelling of the lids of an eye. During the chronic phase, the parasites are hidden mainly in the heart and digestive muscles. 1 to 3 decades after infection, up to a third of patients suffer cardiac disorders, and up to 1 in 10 suffer from digestive, typically enlargement of esophagus or colon, neurological or mixed alterations. In later years, these patients may experience the destruction of the nervous system and heart muscle, consequent cardiac arrhythmias or progressive heart failure and sudden death. So the treatment for this Chagas disease, which can be treated with benzonidazole, nifurtimox, both medicines kill the parasite and are fully effective in curing the disease if given early in the acute phase, including in case of congenital transmission. Their efficiency or the efficacy diminishes. However, longer a person has been infected, also adverse reactions are more frequent in older age. Treatment is also indicated for patients in whom infection has been reactivated, for example, due to immunosuppression, and during early chronic phase, including for girls and women of childbearing age, before or after pregnancy, to prevent congenital transmission. Adults with infection, especially those with no symptoms, should be offered treatment because antiparasitic medicines can prevent or curb disease progression. In other cases, the potential benefits in preventing or delaying the development of Chagas disease should be weighed against the duration of treatment, up to 2 months, and possible adverse reactions occurring in up to 40% of adults. Benzonidazole and nifurtimox should not be administered to pregnant women or people with kidney or liver failure. Nifurtimox is also contradicted for people with a background of neurological or psychiatric disorders. Additionally, specific life-lasting treatment and follow-up for cardiac, digestive, or neurological manifestations is required. So how do we control and prevent? The large reservoir of T. cruzi parasites in wild animals throughout the America means that the infection cannot be eradicated. Instead, the public health targets are elimination of the transmission to humans, early healthcare access, and lifelong follow of the infected people. There is no vaccine to prevent Chagas disease. T. cruzi can infect many species of triatomine bugs, the majority of which are found in Americas. Vector control has been most effective method of prevention in Latin America. Blood screening is necessary to prevent infection through transfusion, organ transplantation, and congenital transmission, and to increase detection and care of the affected population all over the world. Depending on the geographical area, World Health Organization recommends the following approaches to prevent and control. Development of information, education, and communication materials and activities contextualized for the different scenarios and actors and based on a One Health approach. Spraying of dwellings and surrounding areas with residual insecticides, house improvements and house cleanliness to prevent vector infestation, personal preventive measures such as bed nets, good hygiene practices in food preparation, transportation, storage, and consumption, screening of blood donors, testing of organ, tissue, or cell donors and receivers, early access to diagnosis, treatment, and follow, and screening of newborn and other children of infected mothers. The medical care cost of patients with chronic cardiac, digestive, neurologic, or mixed forms of diseases have been calculated to be more than 80% higher than the cost of spraying residual insecticide to control vectors and prevent infection. So, health professionals working at the first level of care, primary health care, have a key role in strengthening detection, treatment, follow, and notification of cases. Health professionals working at the first level of care, primary health care, can take active role. Assessment of the available diagnosis, including rapid serologic or chemiluminescence tests, molecular biology tests, and the most cost-effective algorithms, is fundamental to increase early case detection. Promotion of biomedical, psychosocial, and environmental studies focused on the determinants and risk factors of Chagas disease is essential to identify novel approaches for the prevention and control. National information systems are essential to monitor the number of acute and chronic cases and the action of transmission routes, but are in place only in 6 out of 44 countries that have reported cases so far. Since the 1990s, there have been successful intergovernmental initiatives in the Americas, leading to the substantial reduction in transmission and increased access to diagnosis and anti-parasitic treatment for Chagas disease. The risk of T. cruzi transmission by transmission has decreased sharply following the universal screening in all blood banks of continental Latin American countries and progressively in other countries and continents. World Health Organization recognized Chagas disease as a neglected tropical disease, NTD, in 2005. This facilitated its greater recognition as a global public health problem and was instrumental to strengthen prevention, early diagnosis and treatment, comprehensive care, psychosocial follow-up, as well as information, education, and communication activities. It has also promoted the fight against misinformation, the lack of social demand, and the weak political commitment to face the burden of disease. In May 2019, the 72nd World Health Assembly established World Chagas Disease Day to be celebrated annually on 14th April. The NTD Roadmap 2021 to 2030 includes Chagas disease among the conditions targeted for the elimination as a public health problem and propose 5 targets. Verification of interruption of domiciliary vectorial transmission, verification of interruption of transfusional transmission, verification of interruption of transmission by organ transplants, verification of interruption congenital transmission, 75% coverage of antiparasitic treatment of the eligible population to attain the goal of elimination of Chagas disease, transmission to humans and provide health care, and for affected people worldwide who aims to strengthen networking at the global level and reinforcing regional and national capacities. Today is also commemorated as International Moment of Laughter Day in US. So this day, let your inner child come out and laugh all your worries. You can laugh out loud or giggle. In fact, you can do whatever you want, but make sure you are laughing at the same time. This day reminds us to look beyond our anxious lives and find something that puts a big smile onto our faces. So the day started in 1997 when a humor consultant and psychologist, Izzy Jessel, invited the whole world to join in the day and do some fun activities to encourage everyone to laugh. According to Cecil, laughing is as essential as breathing. Laughter comes right after breathing as just about healthiest thing you can do. He says the purpose behind this day is to motivate people to find positivity in life. Laughter, often described as the best medicine, positively affects our health. International Moment of Laughter Day was initiated to improve our perspectives. Laughing is proved beneficial for anxiety, as the holiday's originator himself said. It relieves stress, instills optimism, raises self-confidence, diffuses resistance to change, and enhances all your relationships. And his point was proven when cardiologist Dr. Michael Miller and his colleagues at the University of Maryland conducted a research study in 2005 which found that people who watched comedy movies had increased blood flow and those who watched sad movies suffered from restricted blood flow. The idea of the encouragement of laughter of International Movement of Laughter Day became so popular that the whole world participated in it. The point of Izzy Jessel is strengthened by the fact that laughing can cause a decrease in the production of stress hormones and as a result to relieve anxiety. Poets use laughter to mock the corrupt lifestyles and the Spanish aristocracy using satirical poems, Laughter as Critic in 1786. The role of laughter in wartime is acknowledged in a weekly Russian journal, Laughter and Patriotism in 1940. A village in Tanzania suffers from a laughter epidemic that starts with three girls and later spreads through the village in 1962. A study proves that laughter helps increase blood flow in 2005. Well, there are so many laughing benefits. Laughing improves the immune system, helps to overcome stressful situations and anxiety, stimulates the heart, provides exercise for the lungs, and this goes on. If you laugh for 10 to 15 minutes, you can actually burn up to 40 calories, which is enough to lose 3 to 4 pounds over the year. Therefore, it cannot be relied on entirely for weight loss, but it can help a little. A Norwegian study revealed that the laughing can add up to 8 years to your life. It increases the chance of survival by 30%. Laugh out loud. There's no better way to celebrate than laughing out loud for no reason at all. That's okay. Simply go to a store and look for some funny greeting cards or watch a comedy movie, and you will probably burst into laughter in no time. And there are a lot of laughing clubs now available in your localities, in many localities. Maybe you can find a laughing club where people in groups encourage laughing louder. Create awareness about this and sharing it on to your friends and share your favorite jokes, comedy shows, make people aware the benefits of laughter. So laughing increases the human growth hormone, which boosts the immune system and increases lifespan. Tickling your child is a great form of communication and bonding. It strengthens the bond with your child. David Scott set a world record by laughing for 40 minutes straight, recording the longest laugh. The science of laughing and its effects on the body is called gelatology, the study of laughter. Study reveals that the laughing for 10 to 15 minutes a day can burn up to 40 calories. So laughter lowers stress hormones to noticeable levels. Therefore, laughing can actually help to overcome stressful situations and anxiety by decreasing cortisol and epinephrine levels as it relieves stress. So, a study by Mary Bennett showed that people who laughed at comedy movies had greater immunity with increased natural killer cell activity, which made them immune to various diseases. International Moment of Laughter Day is all about celebrating joy and happiness. This day focuses on shifting a person's view of life than pessimistic to optimistic. Today is also commemorated as Tamil New Year, which is observed on the first day of Tamil month, Chitrai, which usually falls on April 14th, since the day is based on the solar cycle of the lunisolar Hindu calendar. The occasion has cultural relevance and is celebrated with traditions and historic customs. On this day, people dress up, meet loved ones, and host dinners. Gifts are exchanged, bonds are strengthened, and happiness is spread across the region. The Tamil New Year is celebrated by all Tamil Hindus in various countries of residence, including across the world, but not limited to Sri Lanka, Malaysia, Singapore, Mauritius, etc., and across the world. Tamil New Year is also known as Puthandu, holds traditional relevance for Tamils across the globe. Puthandu translates as New Year. According to the Tamil calendar, the movement of the sun defines the time and month of the year, and based on the calculations of the community's ancestors, the new year occurs when the sun is directly above the equator, which is also known as the equinox. But that's not all. There is also a story behind the celebration. According to the legend, Lord Indra visited the earth on this day. He defied the law of gravity as he traveled on his white chariot into the land of men. During his visit, he took a bath in Kirisauria, that is milk. The Tamil community also believes that Lord Brahma began his creation of the world on this date. Hence, the day has both cultural and religious relevance for everyone and must be celebrated as an ode to the gods. This is why on the Tamil New Year, people make an extra effort to dress fancily and practice customs that hold traditional significance, which includes greeting each other with the phrase Puthandu Valthukal. The people also believe that the blessings of elders are essential to one's success. Accordingly, the elders play a significant role in Tamil's New Year celebrations. In 1935, Tamil scholars declared January 14th as the Tamil New Year in 1935. The DMK regime states that the New Year will be held in January and enforce rules in between 2006 and 2011. So the AIA-DMK government changes the New Year to April in 2011. So the Tamil New Year is called Dunmaki in between 2016 to 2017. So Tamil New Year is also called Putandu or Putuvarsham, that is New Year. It is also known as Nav Samvatsar. So Tamil people believe the New Year brings new hopes and dreams. To celebrate the day, you can go to traditional way and light some lamps that are known as diya in the region. You can decorate your entire abode with these traditional lamps. To get into the spirit of the new year and to start it in a positive note, give back to poor. This could include a monetary donation or a meat or groceries that can last them a week. So if you are part of celebrations, you can live stream your experience on social media and showcase the culture and traditions of the region to the world. So people cleaning houses a day before is done to get rid of old and valueless items. The use of mangoes and jackfruits are used in the customs as they represent health. On the occasion, betel leaves are offered to elders as a significance of gratitude. Mirrors are used on the occasion to represent all good things in life. The dish called package is made of raw mangoes, red chili, jaggery, and neem leaves. Is a traditional dish. The day is important since it kicks off the new year and also calls for the celebration. This means the entire day is spent with a positive attitude, with lots of festivities, entertainment, and fun. It is also flooded with unique traditions and fun. It's also time that provides everyone a look into Tamil culture and how intriguing it is. The Tamil New Year is the time of the year when everyone is given a holiday, so we can welcome the upcoming year properly. Hence, it is a date to be enjoyed by people of all ages and professions. So today, this week is also commemorated as Animal Control Appreciation Week in US from April 14 to 20, which is celebrated every year on the second full week of April. So it's a week when communities are encouraged to learn about what the job of animal control really entails and to be grateful for those who them. In the past, the evil dog catcher was something you would see often in kids' cartoons, but the depiction only promotes children's negative perception of the trait. In reality, animal control officers risk their lives to protect both animals that are sick or injured and humans from animals that may be violent or have contagious diseases. In 1797, the General Court of Measures passed the Acts of 1797, which included the Act to lessen the dangerous evils of canine madness and other injuries occasioned by dogs. and starting a licensing program for dogs. Since 1934, the animal control officers called dog catcher or dog officer until 2012. Job has been the capture and confinement of every dog within the city that is not licensed, collared, harnessed, or tagged. So the National Animal Care and Control Association was founded on September 27, 1978 to provide resources, standardized training, support, and a means of communication for all animal care resources. Standardized training, support, and a means of communication for all animal care and control professions across the country. In November 1980, NACA's first annual training conference took place in Portland, Oregon. Nearly 100 members assisted and a board of directors and officers were elected. In the early 1990s, due to the part of the raccoon rabies epidemic, many cities and towns transferred animal control to the local board of health. Many animal control officers and inspectors became employees of LBOH and were tasked with enforcing its regulations as well as local bylaws and ordinances regarding animal control. This greatly improved coordination, communication, and efficiency of animal control efforts. In January 1992, the NACA Level 1 training program was started. Courses such as chemical immobilization, defensive driving, euthanasia training, bite stick certification, etc., are now presented several times a year. NACA also performed its first evaluation of the city's animal control program that year. Most animal control officers usually just carry a come-along stick, as they call it, which is a long pole with a loop of rope to capture strays. However, they are allowed to use tranquilizers or firearms to carry out specific tasks, such as the unfortunate cases where they have to kill critically injured animals. Animal control officers are not peace officers, but they may exercise the powers of arrest of a peace officer and the power to severe warrants as specified by the law during the course and within the scope of their employment, but only if those officers complete a course in the exercise of those powers. Animals with rabies may act strangely, be aggressive, try to bite you or other animals, and drool more than usual. But you can't tell for sure if an animal has rabies just looking at it. You would need to perform laboratory testing. Not every pet needs every available vaccine. Arrange a meeting with your veterinarian to find out what is right for your pet and when to do it. Cats and dogs need to wear collars with ID tags, rabies vaccination tags, and city or country licenses where applicable. It should also include your name, address, phone number, and pet's name. Another precaution that is encouraged is microchipping your pet, because most animal shelters and veterinary clinics scan the animals for microchips. The information will help officers identify you and your animal. If you see an officer patrolling the street, greet them and thank them for what they do. Write a letter to the nearest animal control center. If your city is holding a public event, like an Employee of the Year award session or a press conference, why not go there and attend? Because let animal control officers know that their work matters. Animal control officers conduct investigations. They do this by identifying animal bites in the local health department, searching for lost pets, or finding out if an animal has been abused or neglected, and seeking justice for them. Cities such as Austin, Texas, and Salt Lake City no longer euthanize animals after their capture as they did in the past, and many others have followed this trend. 400 communities have embraced the no-kill model. Like police officers and firefighters, their job entails being the first on the scene and animal control emergency. They are first responders. They collaborate with organizations such as American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals to take in animals rescued from fighting rings and make sure they get the help they need. They rescue animals from fighting rings. In some rural towns, wild animals such as raccoons, coyotes, snakes, wolves, and alligators wander into human communities to raid food from trash cans or try to eat pets, and they can also spread diseases. So they relocate wildlife back to their habitats. Despite how much job has changed, the stigma of the dog catcher still exists. Many people still assume that all animal control officers do is capture dogs and euthanize them. But they do a lot more for animals and the community that people think. Besides, as well already discussed, many cities in the US have embraced a no-kill rule with captured animals. Animal control officers get some love. As we said, many people don't know how much animal office control officers do for them and their animals. And some people still think negatively of these professionals. This week, we show appreciation to animal control officers and express gratitude for the service they provide. Animal control officers can't take care of everything. Owners have a responsibility too, and that's another way of showing appreciation. Officers say that their biggest challenge is people's usual reluctance to call them if there is any problem. So don't think animal control as a last resort. It should be your first. Today is also commemorated as National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week in US. Do you ever wondered who is the person behind the emergency calls to 911? Like here we have 100 or 101 and all these numbers. All we know about them is their voice, which is why National Public Safety Telecommunications Week, NPSTW, observed every second week in April, has set aside to recognize and celebrate the work of telecommunicators, helping to save millions of lives every day. If it weren't for the telecommunications flawlessly doing their jobs, millions of lives would have been lost due to untimely assistance. So, throughout this week, we honor and thank those invisible telecommunicators who have continued to serve in demanding the profession. National Public Safety Telecommunication Week was founded to honor the telecommunication personnel dedicating their lives to the public safety. It was a local initiative that was initially set up in 1981 by Patricia Anderson of Contra Costa Country, which later went on to become a nationwide week-long event. There's a quite interesting backstory that marked the establishment of week. It goes something like the Sheriff Rainey of the Contra Costa Country wanted to treat all his administrative staff, then called secretaries to launch one afternoon to show appreciation for their work, but did not realize that the administration lines should never go unanswered during business hours. At that time, it was a practice to forward all administrative lines to dispatch after business hours. But the day Sheriff Rainey brought them lunch, the whole administration pushed their calls to dispatch at 11 a.m. and recklessly left the building. The dispatchers were shocked to receive higher than usual volume of calls. The supervisor called the admin department to find out what the problem was, only to have the call routed back to him because all of them had gone out for the feast. So, angered, the supervisor sent a dispatcher to the admin department to see what was going on, who came back to tell supervisor that the entire building was vacant. Although the staff came back at 1 p.m. and disconnected the auto forward feature, a long-time dispatcher, Patrick Anderson, walked over to the administration side to give Sheriff Rainey an earful of what the dispatchers had gone through for the 2 hours straight. An hour later, on the same day, a sheepish Sheriff Rainey walked into the dispatch department with a giant cake decorated with birds Happy Dispatcher Week, launching an initiative that how culminated into public safety, National Public Safety Telecommunication Week. According to the APCO International Public Safety Communications Code of Ethics is, I will keep my private and social life free from all criticism, maintain a calm attitude during these times of stress and emergencies, develop self-control, and be constantly mindful of the welfare of others, regardless of race, creed, or religion. So, public safety telecommunicator are emergency dispatchers who take information from the public about crimes, threats, fires, acts of terrorism, medical emergencies, and other emergency matters to coordinate and connect with emergency response personnel. According to the Red River Regional Dispatch Center, the qualities of a good dispatcher include high moral character and integrity, compassion, good judgment, high degree of emotional self-control, empathy and sensitivity, intelligence, good communication skills, self-confidence. So emergency dispatchers that have most stressful jobs in the US, according to an article in Business Insider, emergency call takers scored 98.5 out of 100 in stress tolerance, making their profession one of the most stressful jobs in America. They work 24/7. Emergency dispatchers do not work from 9 to 5 like most of us. They work while you sleep to help emergency callers who are disoriented, panicked, and unable to think. They are underpaid. Although they work for 12 hours, 7 days a week, their average annual income is only $36,000, despite serving in one of the most important emergency response roles. Many of them suffer from CISS. Due to the nature of their role, dispatchers often suffer from critical incidents stress syndrome, in short known as CISS, similar to PTSD, characterized by nightmares and severe anxiety, and they have to learn to effectively cope with. Knowing they are only qualified voice to give instructions, dispatchers would never hang up your phone or disconnect the line unless and until they know emergency callers have been taken care of by professionals. So they would never hang up on their own until you disconnect by yourself. So they truly care about you. They work for 12 hours on holidays, birthdays, and every day of the week. They won't hang up on you despite the panic in threatening situations. They do their best to remain calm and keep you calm until help arrives. Public safety telecommunications or emergency dispatchers give countless hours of their lives in an emotionally taxing job. They care about you more than you would imagine. Since their job does not require a college degree or specialization, it's sad to know that they are severely underpaid for the amount of mental and physical effort they put in every day. The need for emergency dispatches is truly everlasting and increasing at a steady rate. More than 240 million emergency calls are made to dispatchers every year in the US. So the least we can do to recognize their importance is dedicate a week to honoring their contributions. Today is also commemorated as Pan American Week and Pan American Day in US. This week aims to celebrate the Organization of American States, OAS, in short, an organization formed to improve cooperation among its member states. The OAS has 34 member states, and most of these countries celebrate Pan America Day, while Pan America Week is primarily observed in the US. The week's events take place in schools, colleges, and communities with parades, speeches, and discourses. So Pan American Week is an annual celebration. Both the week and day are marked across the countries in American continent and all the member states of the Organization of the America States. The Organization of America States was founded to improve cooperation among the member states and bring them all together in solidarity with each other. There are 34 member states of the OAS, and all of these states are independent countries in the American continent. When Panama was still under Colombian rule, the political and military leader Simon Bolivar suggested bringing the American countries together in a collective league. The meeting suggested bringing the American countries together in a collective league. The meeting that resulted was eventually a failure. However, the idea stayed in people's mind and came up again at the first International Conference of American States. At the conference, among the countries that attended, 18 decided to form an international union of American republics. This organization was precursor to the modern day OAS. The organization has its headquarters in Washington, D.C., and has adopted a system of collective security, a determination to fight communism, and a treaty of reciprocal assistance. Today, primary function of the OAS is to monitor elections and audit the elections of member states when the elections are accused of being fraudulent. The organization is headed by a Secretary General. In Honduras, Pan American Day is celebrated as a national holiday on April 14 to honor the formation of OAS. OAS is active and primarily focuses on election monitoring for its member states. Cuba got banned from sending representatives to the OAS till 2009. When Fidel Castro died, they could send representatives to the OAS again. The formation faced challenges. The killings of George Eliezer Gayton, a Colombian leader, delayed the switch from PAU to OAS. The OAS adopted the American Declaration of Rights and Duties of Man. It adopted the world's first rights instrument. It has two sources of funding. The OAS has access to the funds for specific projects and the General Secretariat. All member states host the General Assembly. Member states take turns hosting the General Assembly on a rotating basis. Canada has an unusual relationship with OAS. Despite being a founder member, Canada did not join the OAS until the OAS was settled. So we think it's great. We appreciate diversity that so many countries with diverse cultures have come together to support each other. So we want to appreciate the variety and diversity of cultures coming together. Today is also commemorated as Air Force Reserve Birthday in US. After the US Air Force was established as a separate branch of service, the Air Force Reserve was born. Its mission is to provide combat-ready forces to fly, fight, and win. Reservists play a crucial part in the Department of Defense strategy for manpower, global reach, and military flexibility. This day celebrates those who have taken the courageous decision to answer the call of duty. They embody the values of integrity, service before self, and excellence that observes to be celebrated not just for a day, but the whole year around. Evolving from a standby force for emergencies into a major command or MAJCOM of the active duty Air Force, the Air Force Reserve has become a vital part of the national defense. It's made up on the 4th Air Force, 10th Air Force, 22nd Air Force as the Commander-in-Chief. The President of US is recognized as its highest authority. It provides forces not just for flying missions, but for medical, intel, civil engineering, security, and space force type operations. Currently, it performs about 20% of the work of the Air Force, such as traditional flying missions, and more specialized missions, such as weather reconnaissance, hurricane hunters, personal recovery, and modular aerial firefighting to become fully deployable and mission ready. A typical response time for the Air Force Reserve is approximately 72 hours. Some categories work part-time like individual mobilization augmentees and traditional reservists who serve in the unit program are required to report for duty at least one weekend a month, including 2 weeks a year. They do so under the leadership of a group wing or squadron, which is their present command unit. Personnel of the active guard and reserve or AGR serve full-time and get full active duty pay and benefits like other active duty members of any branch of armed forces. Members of the Air Reservation Technician Program work full-time as well. Today, the number of reservists is over 70,000. Regardless of their duty status category, all reserve airmen throughout the US and overseas are always ready for combat command in airspace and cyberspace. Your initial military service obligation will be for 6 years. There's an additional 2 years of inactive status, wherein you don't attend drills, but you can still be activated by the president. The majority of jobs are part-time, which amounts to 1 weekend a month and 2 weeks a year. So you can volunteer separate from Air Force One once you serve your obligation or contract has been fulfilled. So the training for most career fields leads to college credits applicable to the community college of the Air Force degree programs. Student loan repayment is offered for selective career fields. The Air Force Reserve supports continuing education on all levels. Access to Montgomery GI Bill Select Reserve may be available. It can be used for degree and certificate programs, correspondence courses, flight training, and apprentice training. The post 9/11 GI Bill, the bill gives education benefits to those who served on active duty for 90 days or more after September 10, 2001, as well as those discharged with a service-connected disability after 30 days. Support units may not always get the same amount of recognition as the main service branch. We celebrate this day that provides focus to these special units. You don't need to fly a plane. You might find that your skills, talents are more suited for serving as an Air Force reservationist. It encourages enlistment. Many hands make the work lighter. The work that Air Force reservists do is a vital part of the US Air Force. It shows the importance of support. Today is also commemorated as National Pecan Day in US, a uniquely American nut whose fan base counts the likes of founding fathers such as George Washington and Thomas Jefferson. Whether it's a garnish or a salad or standalone stack, caramelized or roasted, sweet or savory, pecans never fail to deliver on the enthralling taste and ultimate nutrient density. America is credited for the 75% of the world's total pecan production. So this day was established by the National Pecan Shellers Association in 1966 to recognize and honor the workforce behind the cultivation of pecans in America. So Americans celebrate the only nut native to its land. Pecans are a much celebrated nut of America, used in desserts, ice creams, and snacks. Today, America is responsible for 3/4 of the pecan production in the world, from the summer lanes of Texas to the sunny pavements of California. Pecan cultivation is a year-long endeavor for thousands of American farm workers. In 1996, the National Pecan Shellers Association members came together to establish April 14th as National Pecan Day. The objective of this day is to celebrate the earthly wonders of this nut and to uplift the hard-working members of the industry who make sustainable farming pecans possible. Pecans are non-fuss plants that don't require a liver and a half to take sapling. Plant the seeds today and you can reap the nuts tomorrow. Pecans are home to 19 different vitamins and minerals, including vitamin A, vitamin E, magnesium, and potassium. Pecan oil processed from pecans is recommended for those with a risk of heart disease. Pecans have official certification of the American Heart Association for being a heart-healthy food. A pecan tree grows to over 150 feet tall and lives for over 300 years. Astronauts carried pecans to the moon in their Apollo space mission twice. So the sweet, crunchy texture of a pecan elevates any dish it touches, be it candles, cookies, bread, pie, salads, or ice cream. It's time we honor the contribution of this humble nut in our kitchen and celebrate National Pecan Day with full excitement. While cashew came to America from Brazil and the California almonds are actually a gift of Spain, pecan is singular nut native to America. Pecans are widely consumed by Native Americans before European colonization. The American pecan industry is worth over $3.5 billion. Just 15 states of the US produce more than 75% of pecan of the world. The pecan trees are responsible for the livelihoods of thousands of families and a flourishing US economy. Today is also commemorated as Pathologist Assistants Day in US. PAs are undervalued in the pathology laboratory and do not receive the recognition they deserve. As a result, this day is set aside every year to celebrate their vital contributions to correct diagnosis and better patient care. APA is a trained health worker who works under pathologist guidance and supervision to provide various services. Sanctuaries of the Southeastern Pathological Association are academically and practically trained to handle laboratory specimens accurately and promptly. PAs are supervised by a board-certified anatomical pathologist who makes the final diagnosis based on PA's extensive gross examination and tissue submission for microscopic assessment. Eugene A. Stead is regarded as the founder of the physician assistant profession. He established the first formal education program to educate PAs at Duke University in 1965. Thomas D. Kinney and Duke University started the first formal university-based training program for pathologist assistants in 1969. 14 recognized programs have been developed to date in the US and Canada. The American Society for the Clinical Pathology, ASCP, is a Chicago-based professional organization. The ASCP, founded in 1922, offers patient, pathologist, and lab professional education, certification, and advocacy activities. Passing the ASCP exam is a requirement for pathologist assistants. The organization's founders founded the American Association of Pathologist Assistants on April 14, 1972. This association was established to promote the mutual integration of trained pathologists to bring out interests that will further the pathologist profession, including promoting ethical behavior in that profession, promoting education of pathologist assistants, and educating the public and health sector about the function of a professional pathologist assistant. APA has expanded to over 2,100 members with 5 founding fathers since its inception. The American Medical Association has 21,292 active pathologists as on reported date. In terms of remuneration, PA's average yearly salary ranges from $60,000 to $90,000. Quality control technicians, pathologists, senior managers, and technical medical writers are options for pathologist assistants. The AAPA teamed up with the ASCP in 2004 to obtain nationwide accreditation for pathologist assistants. So this day is important as it shows the importance of workplace teamwork. It increases the productivity. It recognizes the efforts of pathologist assistants. Today is also commemorated as Perfume Day in US. Perfume have been around and used by people for many years. It's not only used to create pleasant smells on the body, but also used to create a distraction from unpleasant smells. The word perfume is derived from the Latin words perfumum, meaning through the smoke. Incense was the first form of perfume and was commonly used for religious rituals by ancient. Perfume is usually made of essential oils, aromatic compounds, alcohol, and water, and the ratio of essential oil to alcohol determines the intensity and longevity of the perfume. Perfume has several types based on alcohol essential oil ratio. They are parfum or extract, or also known as pure perfume, perfume extract, or simply perfume. 20 to 30% essential oil, ED perfume, 15 to 20% essential oil, ED toiletty, 5 to 15% essential oil, ED cologne or simply cologne, 2 to 4% essential oil, Fraiche, 1 to 3% essential oil. So different perfumes put different amounts of essential oils into their perfume products. For example, an EDP from one perfumery may have a lesser concentration of essential oil than an EDT from another. Perfume also has three classes of notes. First is the top notes, also known as opening notes or head notes. The scent you immediately notice after spritzing perfume, usually citrusy, fruity, or herby. That is bergamot, grapefruit, basil. Second is the middle notes of heart notes, the core of perfume, the scent that comes after the first ones started fading, usually floral, lavender, geranium, juniper. The third is the base notes, the scent remaining about an hour after your first spritz, that is vanilla, jasmine, as patchouli. So which opening notes do you like the most? First, second, or third? It is said that jasmine and lang lang are usually associated with seduction, romance, and they appeal to everyone. According to the research studies, lavender is associated with improved sleep. Perfumes with notes of rosewood and patchouli are labeled old lady perfumes. So, if you want to prolong your perfume shelf life, store your perfume properly. Keep the package sealed until the first spritz and keep the bottle closed after use. Keep it away from direct sunlight. Store it in a dry place. Avoid storing it in the bathroom. Make sure you not to shake the bottle excessively. Do you expect the perfume to last longer on your body? Apply it to your pulse points and don't rub your breasts together. It's a big no-no. Just tap your breasts together or dab your breast anywhere you see fit. Layer your perfume with body oil or lotion to enhance the scent. Wearing perfume is not only pleasing, but it also boosts your confidence. So spend some money on a quality perfume. Since you know how to store and apply perfume properly, it seems worth buying a quality one. So perfume mixes with your skin chemistry. Once it touches it, so it can smell different between two people. So it's always better to test on your skin because every human body is different in producing different composition of chemicals. So that's why every human being smells unique. So in the same way, when perfume interacts with one's human body, the skin, it smells different. So always test before you buy it and ensure that it smells right. It is said that the lavender scent can make you feel more relaxed, while a citrus scent can awaken your senses. So, perfume can improve your mood. Many of today's perfumes are not natural. Many perfume manufacturers are synthetic fragrances due to mass productions, due to large quantity. But still, we get natural perfumes, but they are costly. Synthetic fragrances can last much longer than pure perfumes because of their powerful fixatives. Shumuk is the world's most expensive perfume, costing $1.29 million. It costs a fortune. Most of us probably own at least one perfume. That's because its pleasant smell can make us feel more confident and sometimes even our mood. One of the remarkable things about perfume is it can trigger memories. A particular scent can bring you happy memories. Meanwhile, it can also remind you of someone special. You are already confident about spritzing some perfume on your body, combined with a pleasant smell, and people will be more attracted to you in no time. Today is also commemorated as Rain Day in US. Rain Day is an annual outreach by national largest anti-sexual violence organization, RAIN, the abbreviation for the Rape, Abuse and Incest National Network, to advance the nonprofit's ongoing crusade to prevent sexual violence against young men and women on college campuses. The date varies year to year during the month of April, which is Sexual Assault Awareness and Prevention Month. Rain Day events are designed to educate students and their peers about prevention and provide recovery support for survivors of sexual assault and harassment. Although live events have always been held on college and university campuses, this year, Rain Day events will be held virtually and also offline due to global pandemic. Of course, we have post-pandemic, but still organizing both online and offline could leverage the benefits. The organization behind the Rain Day, the Rape, Abuse and Incest National Network, recently celebrated 25 years in 2019, delivering help and hope to the survivors of sexual violence on college campuses. So this year they are celebrating 30 years. RAIN is changing the way people think and respond to sexual violence in general by shining a light on a topic that is uncomfortable for most people to discuss. RAIN was founded by publishing businessman Scott Berkowitz in 1994 after getting involved in the issue locally at the prompting of a friend. His original vision for RAIN was to create a telephone hotline for victims after hearing stories firsthand from survivors and volunteers. 26 years later, RAIN is the nation's leading authority on the issue of sexual violence. RAIN's scope of work today includes coordinating both a national 24-hour helpline, phone hotline, and an online chat hotline where victims can access confidential help, providing community education, and working to improve public policy at both state and federal levels of government. Since its inception, the National Sexual Assault Hotline has answered the calls of more than 3 million young men and women whose lives were shattered by sexual violence. They have published multiple press releases in support and on behalf of survivors facing media scrutiny, including Dr. Blessy Ford. So rain day activities can be organized for any student community that is vulnerable to threats of sexual violence, such as high school campuses, universities, institutions. The RAIN organization provides ideas and publicity materials to support the rain day events on their website. The National Sexual Assault Hotline provides a simple and safe way for you to report an incident of sexual violence, regardless where you live or where the assault has occurred. Hotline phones are answered 24 hours a day, every day of the year. When you call the National Sexual Assault Hotline number 1-800-656-HOPE, your call is routed to the closest sexual assault service provider in your local area. There are more than 1,000 providers nationwide who partner with RAIN, offering confidential and compassionate support if you are the victim of sexual violence. The laws regarding sexual assault and violence differ from state to state. You can research and compare the laws, definitions, and public policy of states where you live, work, or attend school on the RAIN public policy page. The RAIN organization provides online fundraising tools so that you can easily create your own digital fundraising campaign. One popular theme is Pledge Your Birthday as a fundraiser. RAIN provides this free customizable online platform where you can invite friends, family, and co-workers to celebrate your special day by making a tax-deductible donation to RAIN. More than half of the sexual assaults on college campuses occurred during the first semester of the school term in the months of August, September, October, or November. This is, generally the freshers come in and ragging and all sorts of bullying also takes place with the freshers. Women aged 18 to 24 attending college are 3 times more likely than women not in this category to be the victim of sexual violence. Female college students are at risk. Most violence is not reported. Only 20% of the female student victims aged 18 to 24 ever report sexual violence incidents to law enforcement. Non-traditional genders are most targeted group. 21% of the TGQN community, transgender, genderqueer, non-conforming on college campuses have been sexually assaulted compared to the 18% of non-TGQN females and 4% of non-TGQN males. 4.2% of college students report they have been stalked since entering the college. So this day is important in bringing awareness, empowerment, encouragement against sexual abuse and violence. Today is also commemorated as National Gardening Day in US. Is a day of encouragement, a day created to give gardeners a show and shovel so that they can begin their gardening journey. Weather permitting, gardening has always been an endearing task for patient lovers of the great outdoors. A good gardener plans years ahead as they shape the nature that surrounds them according to their vision and needs. With National Gardening arriving during spring, it is a great chance for you to warm up your green fingers and get planting and preparing for the summer. Our gardens are a unique space. Use this day to get out there and make the most of them. Today is also National Look Up at the Sky Day in the US. Aurora light facts and the perfect ways to celebrate. We often rush through our weekdays hoping the weekend will come quickly and then rush through the weekends before dreading its end. When was the last time you stopped and looked up at the sky? Do you know that a cloud can weigh approximately 1.1 million pounds, or that the color of star depends on its temperature? The sky is fascinating, yet we hardly even notice it. Today is also commemorated as National Expose Day in US. On a scale of 1 to Edil, how are you feeling today? When we tell you it's National Expose Day, this April 14. It's going to make you blast someone like you and cry into your ice cream? No need. National Ex-Spouse Day, curiously inserted into calendar exactly 2 months after Valentine's Day, has become a time to reflect on positive moments you shared with your ex. That's correct. Look, you married them. There must have been something you liked, that is before they snapped. So think of them fondly before celebrating the fact that they are gone. Today is also commemorated as National Donate a Book Day in US. Readers across the US, whether it's a new or gently used books, you are encouraged to donate them to your local libraries. If books are not added to the library collections, they will hand them to friends of libraries. The Friends of Libraries use donated books to load their book sale fundraisers for the library. So donate yours to the local public library as a means to share knowledge with others if you no longer need them. Today is also commemorated as Good Deeds Day, which takes annually on chosen Sunday in April. This year it falls on April 14. This initiative seeks to promote people giving back to their community however they can. You can volunteer, donate to charity, or help people in your area, whichever way you see fit. The beauty of Good Deeds Day is there no set way to celebrate. The goal is to help others and do good for your community, fostering a sense of kindness and compassion around us. Acts of charity are never forgotten by their recipients. Spread the love on this holiday. So Good Deeds Day is a brainchild of Shari Harrison, a US-born Israeli businesswoman and philanthropist. Through its network of volunteers, event organizers, and resource mobilizers, Good Deeds Day raises awareness of the power of charity work and community development efforts. The movement continues to grow. The future of this day grows even brighter. Today is also commemorated as Dreams of Reason Feast Day in US. It is a day set aside to commemorate scientific theories that have been discarded and science fiction futures that have not come to fruition yet. There have been several theories that have been discarded and others have been debunked, yet quite a number of them pave way for the exploration of current theories. The future of science fiction, while largely read, has not always been one that has come to pass. So look at the Dreams of Reason Feast Day, where we explore the science fiction futures and discarded scientific theories. Today is also commemorated as Children with Alopecia Day in US. This is a very ailment with Smith's wife, Jada Pinkett Smith, is suffering from, which Chris Rock made fun of at the day at the Oscars, and which led to his being hit by Will Smith on stage in front of millions of viewers. Before the Slapgate scandal, you may not have heard of alopecia. It is an autoimmune disease that causes baldness or bald spots on the scalp. In some cases, it also leads to loss of body hair in other areas, including eyebrows and eyelashes. This year, let's join hands to raise awareness about the disease and put an end to the stigma suffered by children who live with it. Children with Alopecia Day is a project initiated by Children's Alopecia Project, in short known as CAP, to raise awareness about children suffering from various forms of alopecia. Although the disease emerges at a later stage in life, it often starts to develop during childhood or teen years. According to the Jeff Wojtowicz, the founder of CAP project, the program was created to support children who are facing hair loss problems due to alopecia He believes that it is essential to shift the focus of project from growing hair to building self-esteem and confidence. Alopecia does to the body, as it is an autoimmune disease. It causes cells in the human body's immune system to attack hair follicles. This leads to a loss of hair in certain areas of the body. However, the amount of hair one loses depends on the type of alopecia one has. Alopecia totalis causes one to lose the entire hair on one scalp. Alopecia areata is known to cause bald patches on the head and other body parts. Alopecia universalis is an advanced state that causes one to lose hair on the scalp, the face, and rest of the body. Whichever the stage of alopecia one has, being ridiculed by those around them is quite common, especially among children, where victims are relentlessly bullied by peers. Sadly, alopecia cannot be cured, but many affected by the disease may be able to regrow their hair. Iron deficiency is known to cause hair loss. Common causes include fungal or bacterial infections, Tologen effluvium, and traction alopecia. It is a friendly fire disease. Alopecia is about your body's immune system mistakenly targeting healthy skin cells, that is, hair follicles. Approximately 6.8 million people in the US have alopecia. Alopecia, 147 million people worldwide has alopecia areata or will get it at some point in their lives. Lab tests aren't required to detect alopecia. It's asymptomatic. Aside from hair loss, alopecia areata doesn't cause headaches, irritation, or other symptoms. So this day is important as it spreads awareness about alopecia. It gets children help that they deserve. It boosts the victim's mental health. Today is also commemorated as Cambodian New Year in Australia. It's also known as Khmer New Year, as it is celebrated with a bang by Khmer people of Cambodia. It is typical New Year's Day the entire world marks on January 1st. This occasion too is flooded with celebrations, fireworks, parties, and a lot of fun. It coincides with the traditional solar New Year in several parts of India, Bangladesh, Nepal, Sri Lanka, Myanmar, Laos, and Thailand. To honor the presence of divine, Cambodians clean their homes and keep them all alight with candles or lamps. They render their worship to Buddha by offering food to welcome the spirits. Each of these 3 days of celebrations have a specific event assigned to it, and the idea is for Cambodians to make many unforgettable memories in Khmer Day. The legend Damabal Koma, the son of a rich man, had successfully completed his study of 3 Vedas. He was famous for his knowledge and his ability to communicate with birds. One day, the king of gods, who has learned of Koma's intelligence, challenged his intellect by posing a riddle. The king, confident that Koma wouldn't be able to solve the riddle, declared that the loser will be beheaded. For days, Koma struggled but was unable to solve the riddle until one day he decided to commit suicide in the forest. While in the bush, he fell asleep and heard a conversation between 2 vultures. In the conversation, he learned the answer to the riddle. The king was beheaded, and per his request, his daughters carried his head on a platter in a ceremonial circle around the Mount Sumeru. It is believed that on this day, a new angel comes down to earth for the ceremony and brings with it happiness and good weather. So Cambodia is also counted among the third world countries, the poorest countries, one of the poorest countries of the world. The country's per capita income is in 2022 is $1,842, which places it at 118 on the World Prosperity Index rankings. The Khmer people call it Chol Chnam Me, the Cambodian New Year. Explore Phnom Penh, the capital city of Cambodia and country's most populous city. The region is recognized for its central market, Royal Palace National Museum, and several other historic sites. There are 19 languages spoken in the country with different dialects. About 95% of Cambodians identify themselves as Buddhist, and it's a Buddhist nation. Cambodia was once part of French colonial empire. Tourism, which its second largest revenue generator, is a major industry in Cambodia. Traditionally, birthdays are not celebrated in this country. Today is also commemorated as America's Day in Honduras. This celebrates the cooperation unity among the formerly colonized countries in North and South America. It is the initiative of Organization of American States, OAS, which has been instrumental in bringing nations across the two continents together since 1890. Seminars and demonstrations are organized throughout the country as Hondurans mark this day of solidarity between countries with a shared history. And finally, today, the last commemoration of the day, today is also commemorated as Ambedkar Jayanti, which is celebrated annually on April 14. The celebration pays tribute to the life of renowned polymath, who is none other than Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. So the celebration pays tribute to the life of renowned polymath, jurist, economist, and civil rights activist, Dr. Bhimrao Ramji Ambedkar. He is fondly known as the father of the modern Indian Constitution and was instrumental in shaping the democratic structure of India. He was dedicated in educating the oppressed, improving their economic standing, and raising issues concerning economic and social discrimination against untouchables. Every year, on April 14th, on his birthday, is commemorated as Ambedkar Jayanti across the country, and the day is also observed as Equality Day. Ambedkar was born on April 14, 1981 in India. He is considered the father of the Indian Constitution. His renouncement of Hinduism inspired the Dalit Buddhist movement. From 1947 to 1951, Ambedkar was the chairman of the Constitution of India Drafting Committee and the Minister of Law and Justice in Jawaharlal Nehru's first cabinet. In 1918, he was appointed as a professor of political economy at the Sydenham College of Commerce and Economics in Mumbai. As of 1925, he had been appointed to the Bombay Presidency Committee to collaborate with the All-European Simon Commission. In this period, Ambedkar wrote a separate set of recommendations for India's future constitution. By 1927, Ambedkar decided to launch active anti-untouchability campaigns. He started with public demonstrations and marches to increase access to public drinking waters. He also started a fight for the right to enter Hindu temples. After India gained its independence in October 1947, the new Congress-led government invited Ambedkar to serve the country's first law minister, which he accepted. On August 29, he was appointed chairman of the Constitution Drafting Committee by the Assembly. He was tasked with writing India's new constitution. Throughout his life, Ambedkar advocated for equality, particularly for the underprivileged social classes and women. He incorporated his vision of equal rights for all into several constitutional laws. On April 14, 1928, activist Janardhan Sadashiv Rana Pise publicly celebrated Ambedkar's birthday in Pune. This day is now known as Ambedkar Jayanti. So Ambedkar Jayanti is officially recognized and becomes an official holiday throughout India. So to celebrate Ambedkar's 124th birthday, Google publishes a doodle in his honor in 2015. The United Nations celebrates April 14 in honor of Ambedkar Jayanti. In 2016, the first online celebration globally was in 2020. The government of British Columbia observes April 14th as Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Equality Day in 2021. Excluding his 2 master's degree and bar at law, Ambedkar had 4 doctoral degrees. Ambedkar died at 65 years of age in 1956. So Ambedkar is the first PhD in economics and double doctorate holder in economics in South Asia. He aided in the establishment of the Reserve Bank of India. He reduced the working hours from 12 hours to 8 hours in India. Ambedkar's 20-page autobiography on waiting for a visa is used as a textbook at Columbia University. Ambedkar's statue is the only Indian statue that put alongside Karl Marx in the London Museum. Throughout his life, Ambedkar fought for equality for women and the underprivileged. Ambedkar was sensitive to the condition of Dalits who were ostracized from society. He led the Dalit Buddhist movement in India. He wrote the Constitution of India and contributed to the formation of the Reserve Bank of India. His contributions are still useful in present-day India. Of course, we cannot give entire credit for him. There is a whole lot of team and people, those who were behind the Constitution of India, but he has been heading. So, mentioned as. So with this, we shall end today's commemorations. Thank you everyone for joining us on this wonderful day. So see you all tomorrow at the same time with different commemorations. Before leaving, we request everyone to quickly fill the feedback form, which has been raised in the form of quotes.